Okay. Well, for people who are on the live stream, welcome to a evening edition of our Inside Software Architecture series. This is a late stage design discussion and documentation session for a software engineering piece of functionality that's going into the next version of Wolfram Language. And so let's get going. So there's a function called system install, which is supposed to download software on a machine. And let's see, so I can try actually running this in xkernel, is that right?
Yep, it should work if you do system install Python.
Why doesn't it autocomplete? It should autocomplete that.
Agreed, it should autocomplete. I'll make a note to get that working.
Okay, now what's it going to do?
Okay.
So first thing is you see this, legal, agreement thing like, hey, you're about to do something that's not covered by Wolfram Language license.
Okay, that could be more beautifully formatted, obviously.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, why don't we, what's the title here? I mean, it should be something like Wolfram Language System, let's see. What should we call it? Wolfram Language System Install for Python or something? Of Python? Wolfram Language System Install of Python?
That sounds reasonable.
Okay, did this, I mean, this just looks kind of ugly.
I mean, literally, this is very basic dialogue. If you think it needs to be designed,
well, I think I don't know. It doesn't. I don't think it's that important. I think that
we can, if we get the verbiage from you, then we can get design to just design
just
that.
Get legal to come up with what the verbiage should be. This is really not difficult.
Okay.
I mean,
yep.
Presumably there's licensing, and you need to point to where that licensing is. I don't know what it is. Okay, so now what happens here? Oh, I see. It's got a whole installer, but it's also got a whole bunch of okay, so I see. I understand. So that initial screen is just saying you're going to be taken to an external installer. Why don't we just say that? And you understand it's, but okay. So here, and then there are a bunch of bugs here.
Yeah. So those bugs are actually with process link, not with, but yeah, those bugs.
Okay. This is definitely not making it as a non-experimental thing. Downloads and installs. Okay. Well, I don't think it necessarily simplifies it.
Well, so the interactive op, if you set interactive goes to false, for Python, for example, it can run, in the background.
Why don't we just say manages the installation and configuration of external systems used by certain, called by certain language functions. Supported software systems sys include. Okay. Lovely. Okay. This looks just fine to me. All good.
Okay.
Has this been knitted?
To the next one.
Yeah, has this been knitted?
No, it still needs to be knitted.
Okay, and also does it yeah, it is from there. Okay.
You want to check the backlink? Check the backlink. Yeah.
Yep.
We do have to talk about what guide pages maybe should be on.
Yeah, that's what we need to do next. Let's also put that in there, although we're not finished with this page yet. Okay, let's look at guide pages. So should we take it from Open the main page. Let's see, this is clearly going in external. Gosh, there's all kinds of junk here. Let's see. System setup. Or where is oh, this is probably okay, hold on. By the way, network programming languages. Okay. Well, this is relevant for this, right? For now, it's relevant here. Hopefully, system install will get lots of other functionality as well.
Yeah, that's the plan to have more useful software in there, like
All right,
Node.js.
let's put this in here. So is Node.js coming for this version or not?
I just haven't had time to do Node.js, but
okay.
Yeah.
Node.js, I mean, sorry, system install external software systems.
Maybe see about Garrett or and Nicholas doing it, Ian, if you if somebody else has some time to do it.
We could say software for an external install software for external evaluators. Is that reasonable? Objection?
Well, it's more general. It can also be the network packet capture
I'm well aware.
functionality.
This is on the page for external interpreted language interfaces.
In that context, yeah, makes sense.
Right. Okay, what's next?
Ian, the network packet capture documentation, right?
Yep. That's
look what just happened. This has just failed now.
Yeah.
Let me just try this again. I know that worked. That worked.
I think you were switched into the external build,
yeah,
maybe. That's why. So you can have two.
Okay, so is network packet capture in the main head branch build, or is it only in the external?
It's supposed to be in the main branch. I haven't checked recent. It wasn't as of this weekend. It might be in 11.3 now.
Check it, see whether it's there. So network packet capture.
And the interface you see is still okay. Well, no, it's not.
Okay, so let's try it in the external. Okay,
yeah, the interface is old.
Do we have a mock-up of the new one?
Yep. If you give me 1 second, I can send you where it is.
That'd be great. Okay, let's try this, okay. So there are my packets. So this is final as far as you're concerned for how these what's happening with the look of all these packets.
Yep. The data set is final, I think. Well, ordering of the columns, I think you asked to change, and I haven't gotten around to changing the order, but
okay,
that's simple to change the order.
Okay, so this is a mock-up of.
So the top one is what I'm almost done implementing.
That's cool. Average packets per second. Wait a minute, but that's not indicating average packets per second.
Right. So we decided. I mean, it's a significant amount of development to get it to work when you just pull it up to have. And so the decision that we made was that when you pull it up, there's like nothing dynamic, and that it doesn't start updating or anything until you actually click record. So then when you click record, then it starts recording and will tell you the number of packets per second, the time.
Wait, why does it displaying average packets per second when it has nothing to say? I mean, that should be masked out when it has nothing to say.
Okay.
Yeah, we can hide it. Yeah, that's hideable, right?
Yeah. We can just make it.
You just make that an empty string or an empty. Yeah.
Where is it saying what the interface is? EN0 or whatever?
You mentioned you didn't want that? there.
Why not?
Because it's by default, it will capture on all interfaces.
I see. I see. And you have to tell it to capture on a particular interface.
Yep, and that's specified with just the arguments to the function when you call it.
Okay. Do you think this is obvious enough? I mean, this is a recording button, just like an audio recording button, right?
I think that's obvious.
Why is that? It bothers me that this thing is gray, and it bothers me on the audio case as well, because it seems like it's grayed out somehow. Is it in fact gray on the audio case? Okay, let me try and recording here. Blah, blah, blah. That's really weird that it's gray like that. Okay. Oh, that's new. But that's not the way it's supposed to be. Oh gosh. That's not good. No,
that's external. So that's
I understand
external.
that's external. It's what's supposed to happen is spectrogram object is supposed to display as the spectrogram graphic. Am I making sense? Carla, could you check into that, please?
Sure.
That would normally be Shadi's thing, but Shadi is, I believe, out of contact right now.
Okay, I'll check on it.
But you can check into in 11.3. This may just be an experiment in the external that they're going.
Well, no, I know that they're trying to get this in for 11.3 because this is maintaining information about the spectrogram to know what the sampling frequency is and things like that, so you can do other computations on it. Okay, so Ian, you've got an implementation of this nice dynamic thing. Is that true?
Almost. I mean, well, I don't have a completed implementation I could show you right now.
Okay, fine. Okay, Carla, could you also flag with design the fact that I really think this gray thing is confusing?
The stop button.
Yeah, I think they should use a color other than gray, which looks grayed out.
Okay. Any preference on the color for that?
I haven't a clue. I'll leave it to them.
But darker, right? Not like gray indicates
just
inactive.
Looking grayed out. That's all. Unless they make an argument that it's the right thing, but then I think it's okay. All right, let's take a look at network packet capture. Network packet capture. Wait a minute. Didn't we just have network packet capture open close? Didn't that just do this?
Oh, right. Yes, I forgot to add that usage line. Yes, that's
okay. So that's the first usage line. Oh, come on. Why did that do that? Okay, so this is network packet capture, no arguments. And records.
Is Zoom Pro stuff for anybody else or?
No.
Oh, no, it's working.
Okay, so let's see. What do we want to say here? We want to say something that's analogous to what we say for audio capture. And what are we calling so network packet recording is analogous to, if I say network packet recording, is that right? Network packet recording of like, yep.
Yep, that should be fine. One thing I was talking with Shadi about is that they think that we should rename it to be similar to audio, where it's network packet record.
No. I talked to Shadi and they're renaming audio to audio recording.
Oh, okay. Well, that must have happened after I talked to Shadi.
Right.
Okay.
So Carla, can you track that down and make sure that really happens?
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, what was the last thing you had action item on, Stephen? I missed that one.
That audio recording be changed from audio record to audio recording.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think there's any reason to default to anything there for okay, creates a temporary interactive interface for capturing an audio signal. That would seem to me to be what we want to say here as well. Creates a temporary interactive interface for capturing
network packets.
network packets on all network devices, right?
That is correct.
All the by default. Yeah.
Capturing information on network packets on all network interfaces. Is that right?
I'm not sure you need to repeat network packets because it's in the name already. So just capturing information.
I like doing that. What? Capturing information on all network packets.
It's just a little wordy, but if you like it, that's fine.
No, I like repeating the name in the function because I think it says why the function is called that.
Okay.
Network packets, let's say, transmitted or received by all network interfaces. On your computer, is that right? By all accessible network interfaces or all network interfaces?
I mean, technically it's accessible. I mean, if you're trying, it will attempt to capture packets on every interface. It's just that if you don't have, if that interface is inactive or something, it'll just silently no packets will show up on it. So I don't know how. I mean, I think all is fine.
Okay. Through as opposed to by all network interfaces, through all network interfaces. Seems a little better. Anybody care? Nope. Okay. Now what are these things here? So what's this T, serve? I don't think you want T, serve, right?
Yeah, that was probably a holdover from when I copy and pasted this from.
Okay, so are you calling it network service or network interface? You're calling it interface.
This is something different. Network service is distinct. That's like HTTP, right?
Oh, so okay. So where does that appear in the association here?
So it doesn't, because we can't retrospectively, figure out what. I mean, we can tell you what port it's on, and we could try and figure out, hey, what service, but not every packet that's sent over a specific port is of a particular protocol or service.
Okay, so what do you mean here by the service?
So that if let's see if I have no, I don't have an example, but so that would be if you do like control equals of HTTP, you could do network packet capture of control equals of HTTP, which is a network service entity that we have documented.
Okay, hold on. So this is a pretty sophisticated thing, actually. So I mean, if I say, okay, network packet capture of control equals HTTP. Okay, that's super cool, right? Fine. So now I'll get, great.
Yeah, sorry. This is from the merge fallout.
Okay, but what should this do?
So what this does is it's as if you said, so that entity has like a ports property in it. And so we look up the port numbers for that network service and we capture on those ports.
Okay, if I said HTTP here, quotes HTTP, would it also have worked?
If it's a named one, yes, I think that.
As opposed to what the heck else is what is it called? Is it port? No, what's it called?
It's like network. You might have to do property association. I forget the name that they use. Or data set is fine too.
Default ports.
Yeah, so something like that. Yeah, that's what we're looking at.
Okay, but so what exactly can occur there? So that is an entity. So the service can be specified as an entity or a string, presumably.
Yes, and for the string case, we just rely on entity to try and turn it into a network interface. And if it fails, then then we fail. But
okay, what happens if I just want a particular port number?
So then you would use the key goes to val, and you would say port goes to 80, or you could have
why don't we just support n for a port? Why don't we just support a port number? Just 80 means port 80.
Okay, I mean, yeah, I don't think that's ambiguous with any of the other forms we have. So
then let's just do it. Okay, so let's do. Okay. By the way, do you think it's right to say captures information on network packets? Yeah, I think it's better to say information on network packets because it's more stuff than just the packets themselves. It's a bunch of metadata, right? Or is that not? Do you think that's not correct?
There is metadata, right? I mean, if you're just talking about the packets, then okay. I mean, yeah, if you're just talking about the packets themselves, I think that would just imply like the byte payloads.
Okay, captures, sets up an interface for capturing information on network packets associated with the specified service, with the specified network service?
Specified network service. Yeah, that's good.
Okay. So the next thing we want to do is to say, the next case will be a single port number. And we probably also should support the case of a list of port numbers.
So what we decided is that for to do like multiple ones, we're going to support the very basic pattern of just alternatives.
I see. Okay.
Or do you want that to actually be a list?
Is it ambiguous to have it be a list? I don't think it is.
In this form, I don't think so. I think that's probably fine.
Okay.
So if it's a list of specifically numbers, then that works. And you can also do an interval. So if you want to listen all ports from 5,000 to 6,000, you just do the Wolfram Language interval.
Wow. Okay. Cool. Well, we got to document all of that. Okay. Sets up an interface for capturing information on network packets associated with the specified port. This case is the multiple ports, which unfortunately is a different pattern here. With any of the ports sub-I.
Yes, it's an OR operation. So yeah, I mean, I guess how could it be an and? It doesn't make
Indeed.
sense.
Ag. Okay. Any of the ports sub-I. Okay. We're hearing budge typing here.
Sorry, that's
okay.
Me.
So what is spec here?
So spec would be like an association, I guess. So it made more sense for network packet recording. So spec would be if you're specifying the time or the packet number as well as other things in an association. So I guess it's just the ASOC case if we don't have time.
I'm totally confused here. I mean, what you're saying is that there's a key value case, right? which is, and then there's an association.
If you have multiple key values, yeah. So you can delete spec.
Okay, so this one here is just, it's basically property arrow value, isn't it?
Yeah.
But we're not allowing the possibility of having network packet capture only certain wait a minute. I'm sorry. I'm very confused here. What is the, oh, I see. Network interface. The network interface specification is another one of those. Okay, I get it. Yeah, sorry, I'm just being confused here. Okay, record packets. Do we want to call it? I was going to say we might want to have a list of specs that allow us to get only a subpart of this giant association. Do you see what I'm saying?
Like what do you mean? Could you be more?
Well, I'm saying that like, for example, if I want, I mean, arguably this is, look, if I just say source port, destination port.
Oh, I see what you mean.
You know, here
you want a way
I
to
will get,
specify that.
What on earth? What on earth
I think
happened
you have
there?
to do
Oh,
all, comma, yeah.
Right. But we might want to just have the recording only give these. So now, for example, I could say, oh, this is going to be kind of cool, list plot of those, and that will show me rather uninspiredly which the combinations of source and destination ports are. I think I can conclude nothing from this. Okay. Okay.
Well, if you did a sort around that, I bet you'd see like maybe 2 or 3, right? Because because there's 2 points, you know, the 801 and the 5, you know.
Yeah.
I bet there's like 2 actual pairs, but you're seeing both sides of the pair.
Yeah. Right. Okay, fine. So let's not call it property then here. What are these things? What is the generic description? You're calling them keys. All right, fine. Let's call it key. Why don't I simplify this? Captures only packets. Let's say, or looks only at packets associated with a specified notebook interface. Considers, deals with. Give me a suggestion. I just don't want to repeat all this verbiage for every one of these. Let's see. Oh, I noticed from the Twitch stream, we have a interesting question here. Access to network interface is possible if the binary is installed as super user. If I install Mathematica and tilde applications, typically, I'm not sure. Okay, it's a non-super user.
So it is actually possible to capture packets without being super user. There's a subset of packets that you might not capture.
Then we should say that. We should say that. So this person is saying that you have to set the network interfaces into promiscuous mode.
Well, so promiscuous mode will allow you to capture packets that aren't necessarily going to and from your machine.
Oh, I see. Okay, well, we got to talk about that in this documentation, right? I mean, that's clearly okay. Hold on. Let's just deal with the wording here. looks only at packets. Could we not type in the yeah? I don't know. Captures only packets. I'll do that. Okay, so this capturing information on network packets. This point about the fact that this isn't really correct, is it? Because there are packets that are not going to or from you.
So that. Sorry, I cut out for that for a second. So there are, by default, I don't think most people will have promiscuous, things enabled. And so I think by default, all the packets you will see, unless you're, messing around with network settings and stuff, you will only see the to and from your machine, basically.
Okay. All right. Fine. All right. Captures only packets. Okay. Captures packets for which how do we want to say that? You know what? I think captures only packets matching, captures only packets matching the specification spec, and then we'll explain that down below. Okay. In network packet capture of service, okay, what is that? The service, what, wait a minute, that's the interface, right? No, that's the service. No, I see. In network packet capture of service, possible forms for service include, and then let's make a little table here. So the first thing is
a string like HTTP, like a named service.
A named service, e.g. quotes HTTP. Is it case sensitive? It shouldn't be.
I mean, yeah, I can make it not case sensitive.
Let's make it not case sensitive, just as a courtesy to the user, since I don't think it makes any difference. Okay, and the second thing is let's see, a network, an entity of type network service Okay, so okay, entities can be entered using, and we've got a way, Collar, this is for you. We've got a way to make this beautiful. Well, actually, we can go look at a typical page. What's a good page? Let's try financial data, for example. Oh, come on, where is it? I don't know. Can we find a page? Ask Brian to find a page where using freeform linguistics with.
What about the Wolfram Alpha page?
That's an interesting page to try. I don't guarantee that page will work. Let's see. For this purpose. No, it's telling you how to do it programmatically. Okay, you're going to have to ask Brian how to do this, okay?
Okay.
Okay. By the way, this entity type should be a link to the entity type page for a network service. Another Brian issue.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, next point. In network packet capture of ports, don't forget to implement this of port. Ports are specified by, well, what are these called? These are what is the name of one of these ports? Are they called Unix? But what are they called? These ports. What is the full name of a port? As in what?
Just
Port
a network port.
Okay.
I mean,
network ports are specified by integers or the following. Specified as follows. Can be specified. Network ports can be specified as follows. Okay, so here we have to say n, an integer n from 0 to 65536, 5 rather. Is that right? Well, actually, a single port a list of ports, and then we've got the next case, which is a range of ports. Single port numbered n, number n. A range of ports from nmin to nmax. Am I correct here?
no. So a list of ports means each of the ports you put in there. So you should still also have the list case. If I want to do port 80 and port 443.
Oh, I get it, but I'm trying to write it down. Okay, person on the Twitch stream seems pleased that we're putting this feature in, which is good. Prefer port numbers. This person says, I prefer port numbers, but some might want to use IAM IANA service names.
Right. So the service name, that's the entity case.
Right, but so we should call them IANA service names, yes?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we just said a named service, but it's an IANA, or the IANA named service.
And those are registered, right? There's a single registry for those things.
Yep, and I don't know that we have all of them, but we have a good chunk of them as entities.
Okay. Okay, fine. All right, so let's go. Okay, so what's an example of something that uses a range of ports? Some of these video thingies and so on.
Yeah,
typical
exactly.
example.
So Twitch or Zoom or something that's streaming video might use multiple ports, or you could also be interested in like ephemeral port numbers, where for very short.
Is the usual way of saying that.
Okay, fair enough. Ephemeral ports for like very short-lived things.
Oh, wait a minute. But by the way, we should also say all means all ports, right?
Yeah, you could do all. I mean, all gets ambiguous then as to like, are you doing all services, all ports?
Doesn't make any difference.
Yeah, I guess. But why would you put it under the ports
Let's
table?
not put it there. We're not going to put it there.
Okay, all right, yeah, that's fine.
In network packet capture spec can be given as an association. Let's see. Given in the form key arrow val or as an association or as an association containing multiple keys and values. Possible keys include okay, what's the ordering here?
You mean of which one should go first?
Yeah. How do we order them in the case of in the actual output?
Yeah. So I think what we talked about is having the so packet number, then relative time, then the IP address for source IP address, then destination IP address, then source port, destination port, interface, absolute time, and then the big input.
Great. So let's get the ordering the same here. Okay. So that source IP address, right, is the first thing on the list then.
Yeah. Yep. Source IP address, destination IP address.
Okay. Hold on. This is so grotesque what we have to do here. I am going to do something horrifying, but it'll work. Okay, source IP address is going in first, right? Now, is that given as an IP address object or as a string?
A string or an IP address object.
Okay. IP addresses can be given as strings or as IP address objects, right? And IPv4, IPv6, that's all under control.
Yeah, so I mean, IP address for the string, when you specify it, it can be either or. If you want to say, only use IPv6 packets, so that's another design thing. Is how
Okay,
should we?
hold on. There's another issue here. So spec can be given in this form, or as an association spec. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Possible keys. Well, okay, sorry. Go ahead. What were you saying? IPv6, IPv.
Yeah. So how should we specify the IPv6 versus IPv4? Because I mean, it's a binary thing. It's like either do both of them, i.e., all, or do IPv4 or IPv6.
I don't understand that statement. I mean, doesn't the IP address have a? Isn't that wrapper? Doesn't that wrapper correctly deal with this?
Right, but there's also another key where if you only want packets from any IP address that are IPv4, or you
I see what
only
you're
want
saying.
packets that are IPCV, what should we name that key?
By the way, we should mention. Look, I don't know. We don't have C alsos here. We should absolutely mention host lookup as a C also here.
Yeah,
relevant?
Yeah, that's probably the first most useful one. Ping time maybe as well as in C also.
Yeah. Okay, but do we care about socket if we can get a stream from one of the sockets? Is that relevant?
I mean, yeah, maybe you'd want to start capturing and see your socket messages or something.
How would you do that?
Well, I mean, eventually, what you would do is you would use the like the asynchronous task version of this, but that won't be ready for 11.3. So
okay. So what you want to do is this would say, so possible keys include. So we could say something like IP address type, and you could say v4 or v6.
So it would be the possible values would be all v6, v4, and that's it? Or should we also do IPv4, IPv6?
I don't know, but is that when you give this here, you can see plainly from the source address, which by the way, is this an IP address wrapper thing, or is that just a
it's an IP address. If you copy the data, it'll paste as an IP address around the thing, but you asked us to have it formatted more nicely inside a data set. So
great, fantastic. So if this is an IPv6 address, it'll show up here in a reasonably civilized way, yes?
Yeah, I mean, it'll show up with the colons and things, yeah.
Right. Okay, so I think we should say source IP, destination IP address type. Well, is that for destination or for source or for both? It has to be source IP address type.
Well, so for each of these, like the IP address, the port, and I guess also the IP address type, there's three versions. There's source, destination, or just the generic, which means either or. Which I guess.
I see. Well, so should that be first in our list here? IP address?
Sure, yeah.
I have a bad feeling that the add row mechanism doesn't work properly at the first element there, but that's okay. All right, so then what you're saying is that we be listing here Packets going to or from, well, IP address, source or destination IP address.
Yeah, which means that for a packet to match, it has to either be the source or the destination.
Right. Okay. So now, in principle, we could say, it could say IP address arrow v4. It would not be ambiguous if you just used a string for IP address here, and you just said IP address arrow v4. So I'm saying, because that isn't a valid IP address. I think it's clearer if we say IP address type. Do you agree?
That's fine with me.
E.g. v4. Should the V be capitalized?
I don't know what appropriate if it's supposed to be capitals or not capital.
Well, I mean, it normally is lowercase, but for our typical conventions, I think it's probably should be uppercase like that. Okay, so you'll be able to get this implemented, this type thing. Yes.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, I was muted. Yeah, that should be fine.
Okay.
And just to be clear, so we'll document it as capital V, but we should also presumably
Except lowercase, yeah, and except IPv4 and so on.
Sure.
Do you think it
just
should
make
be
everything case insensitive?
Right, but do you think it should be IPv4 as the name? I mean, if you read it in code, IP address type arrow, oh, it's probably okay.
Wikipedia uses capital IP and then lowercase v.
I know,
That's
I
probably
know, I know. I mean, that's the usual thing. That looks better, actually. Let's do that as the canonical. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Next we have port, source or destination port, right?
Yes.
Okay, so now we would have source port and then destination port. And the final thing is interface.
Yep.
Which is network interface device.
Yep. And for that,
network interface e.g. EN0, right?
Yeah, that's the example of one. And then maybe there should be another note, but
sorry, just a minute. I know that dollar network interface gives all of them, right?
Yep, and that's the key down there.
Yep.
Or that's the note below. Yep.
Anybody know how to do what I'm trying to do right now? Help, special input, literal input. Oh, doesn't seem to work. Maybe that worked. Again, that's something for Brian Collar for these things here.
Okay.
Never mind.
Okay, can be given as strings or IP address objects. Possible values for key. let's see, can be, let's see, all, okay. We can, wait a minute, the PCAP filter P, okay, so this needs to be a separate thing, right? That needs to be another thing down here.
Yeah, I mean, but it can be used in place of any of the above ones, and it doesn't really, combine. It's either or thing, right?
What do you mean? You mean instead of this, the whole spec could be a PCAP string?
Yes.
But it can't, can you combine something in this?
I
No,
mean,
it's like a quick.
it would be very hard to do that.
Why?
Well, because then we'd have to take the string specification, and it could be, a fairly complicated thing, and parse that into the symbolic association, and then merge the
It could
two.
be, could be in conflict with each other, right? Like you can write two
Well, we can
complicated
just
things.
say, that's okay. We can just say the PCAP filter, raw PCAP filter specification.
Yeah, and
Okay.
if that exists, if you use PCAP filter specification, that is, all that you're
Overrides.
using.
Yeah, that overrides the other stuff. Okay. IP addresses. Okay. Let's see. Interface, the values for the interface key. Possible values for the interface key. Yeah, you said this. Possible values for the interface key. Can be any of the strings. Oh gosh, any element in possible values for the interface key can be element or list of these or all. What is dollar network interfaces like for my machine? Is it like a list of thousands of creatures?
When we've looked at it before, it's like 14 or 15 random things. Yeah.
Okay,
22.
so if I said, for example, here, like EN6 or something, here, if I say interface arrow.
The individual rule, I don't think is in builds yet.
Okay. Okay, so it has to be an association. Arrow EN6. Let's find out whether EN6 is very active here. Well, that's kind of weird. Is that actually going to capture from EN6 or is it going to capture from EN0? I think it captured from EN6, even though it said it captured from EN0.
Yeah,
maybe EN6 is
GUI the GUI that was presented, I think, kind of breaks that specification. But that's just because it's outdated, and I haven't.
Fine. Okay. Okay. String. Let's see. The key can be used. Oh gosh. As a string. Any setting given for PCAP filter overrides all other settings. Is that right? Okay, now we got to make these comments about promiscuous mode and so on.
Right. Yes. So I
By
think.
the way, this has to list. One of the things it needs to list early on is dollar network interfaces. So the first thing it lists is network packet recording. $network interfaces, and then host lookup and these other things, right? So another thing it needs to say is on Windows computers, system install of what? PCAP?
I have it as WinPCAP, but
WinPCAP.
C lowercase.
It's not what it is here.
I mean, so WinPCAP is like a fork of PCAP that's maintained, and that's what they call it on the WinPCAP website.
Like this.
Yes.
Okay. System install may be required before network packet capture is used. Network packet capture captures. Well, what's this premise? What should I say about this promiscuous mode thing?
I think that because I mean it's subject to external configuration, right? Like user has to go and manually do stuff.
Yeah, I understand. Captures only packets accessible. It's kind of obvious.
Yeah.
Accessible to
the current user.
Yeah, to the user running, to the current user.
Yeah. I mean, you could run it as sudo, and then you could see everything, but
and does and may not include which typically does not include promiscuous mode packets or something.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, yeah, we should have the word promiscuous in there. So, because that's the technical term for it.
If I could spell it, promiscuous mode packets. Okay. Okay. Is it always, if you're a super user, do you always get those packets, or do you have to switch it on in the OS?
You have to switch it on. Super user can switch it on, but
I understand. There's a certain lack of examples here. Okay, I am supposed to do another meeting for a while, and then we are back to this.
Okay.
Okay. And what we've got to do then, in fact, you could try and move over some of this material to network packet recording.
Okay.
We've also got to do network interfaces as well.
Yep, and then there's also $default network interface.
Oh, is that relevant to this?
No, because by default we capture all of them, right? Is the default.
So why do we care about default? What is $default network interface?
So the operating system has this concept of like a default one that it uses. Like if you open up Chrome, what network interface does Chrome use if you don't tell what to use?
I see. Is it obvious that so?
I would put it last. I mean, I don't think, or there's.
No, I don't think I would put it last, because I think it's something you might very well care about, only asking about what happens on the default network interface.
Mm-hmm.
But to get it, you're going to have to say network packet capture of quotes. I mean, is it obvious that the right default is all network interfaces rather than just your default network interface?
I think the most useful thing is default, or is to do all by default, right? Because I mean, if you're just you start up the graphical interface and you're like, I want to capture packets, you might not always know what interface the packets you're interested on are traveling on. So
okay,
capturing on all would help you find them.
Okay, great. Shall I? I'll push this back, and then maybe you can try and.
Okay, great.
And I should be back with you guys in about 45 minutes. And for those on this live stream, I will be back. We will be back in about 45 minutes. So
Okay.
see you then.